So, I had this all up on YouTube, ready to go, thumbnail and everything. And then I realized that a good chunk of the audio cut out because my headset decided not to work with me. So I had to delete that and redo all of this now. Pain. Hey guys, Sonic Smash Bros. Here, and the GR Fest is now completely done. We're less than 2 hours away from the final results being revealed. So, I figure we actually, get into ban list predictions for the 2025 Rush format going forward. What we can expect to see if Konami decides to actually be confident with Rush Duel ban lists for a change, and maybe a couple of personal choices in there, I'm not sure. So before we get into cards, let's start by looking at skills, because there are 2 skills I expect to get nerfed, and we can actually see both of them from Zuijo. So, the first of which, ignore the fact that I have Hero Rush Rising on him, that's for level farming purposes, because this skill I do not have yet. Void Destruction. So, Void Dogs, as I mentioned before, have a bit too much access to piercing damage way too consistently, especially getting multiple sources of piercing off in a single turn. So, first things first. When it comes to excavating cards with the skill effect, the only monsters you are allowed to add back now are level 8 Dark Galaxy type monsters. That's it. That's what I can expect to see happen, because that means you can no longer grab Void Bug, Pale Rider, or Star Transfer. You can only grab Requiem and Elysium. And other than that, that's probably all that's going to change. I would love for it to only be able to target a normal monster that you normal summon this turn. But I don't think that'll happen. I think that'd be a bit too much. Maybe one or the other could happen, but not both, if that makes sense. But I think the easier one would be to only allow adding back level 8 Dark Galaxy monsters. That'd be a bit more fair. At least in my opinion, anyway. And the next one... Where are you? There we are. Cybernetic Combat Customization. Now, this could receive a couple of nerfs. First things first. The only level 5 or higher monsters you are allowed to include in your deck at all are Cyber Dragon, or monsters that mention Cyber Dragon in their text. This means you can no longer play Ancient Gear Golem in the deck at all, and that's a big deal. That's already a huge nerf right there. Furthermore, you can only activate the skill effect to gain attack points on Cyber Dragon or Proto Cyber Dragon, and it gains attack equal to its level times 100 instead of just a flat 500 right. Now, for Cyber Dragon, that wouldn't change at all. Proto Cyber Dragon is to prevent it from becoming a 1600 for free. So it'd be a 1400 as opposed to, a 1600, and regular Sidra would still have 2600. This means you're not making Cyber Assault Dragon or Cyber Search Dragon 2900 attack beat sticks for free, while also being able to fuse a Cyber Twin Dragon. Now, to go into cards. And we are going to start off with what I think will be Rush Duel's very first ban, at least over here. What many will agree on, Type Change Beam. Simply put, Materian's whole game plan is to now turbo the Type Change Beam, reveal Sword Dancer, and cheese out a free OTK on all of your monsters with Ashura Star, no matter how many life points you might have. That is honestly unhealthy. That is not okay. And something needs to be done about that. Type Change Beam, I think, genuinely needs to go. At the absolute highest, they'll probably put it to Limit 1, but I could see this becoming Rush Duel's very first ban. And that's it for bans. On to the Limit 1s, and this first one's a personal request. I don't think it's going to happen, but Cyber Entry, again, Cyber Dragons are just a bit too consistent with their stuff, and they're playing multiple Cyber Entries these days, so I think putting this as a Limit 1 takes Talismanic Steel Array out of the deck. Why do I say that? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But, honestly, that one might be just me being mean, because I'm sick of Cyber Dragon. A lot of people are sick of Cyber Dragon and Rush, even. So, moving on. The next definite Limit 1, and I think you can't avoid this one. I don't actually have the card, so I'm going to just scroll through it this way. Where are you? There we are. Star Restart. Yeah, there's no denying that this card is broken. Being able to just get back a normal monster for free, get Fusion back for free, and on top of that being able to Fusion Summon again It's too much. It's overbearing, and the cost doesn't even matter with how much resources you get out of it anyway. So yeah, Star Restart absolutely needs to go to Limit 1. There's no two ways about it. Alongside a card that should have been Limit 1 a long time ago, Talismanic Seal Array. This card is broken, it is over-centralizing, it is partially an OTK enabler, and in situations where you really should be, surviving with a few life points left, you no longer survive because of Seal Array. And people are playing multiples of this now. That should tell you something. The only other card that maybe would have gotten put to 1 back then if it weren't for the fact that it's been power crept by today's standards. Where are you? I know I have you. There we are, Rising Light Angel Essel. Now, the reason I don't think it'll get hit now is because by today's standards, it's kind of just whatever. Because, those kinds of decks are no longer in favor. Fusions are way more the big favor right now. So, it's kind of whatever. It's obnoxious. It's dumb in its own right, but it's kind of whatever by today's standards. So, I don't expect any hits on that. Now, when we get to the limited 2s, the obvious one here, let's just reset that, should be around here somewhere, I believe. Yes, Cyber Assault Dragon. Now, normally Konami does not like hitting URs to anything but Limited 3, but this is a bundle card. You only have 2 in the game, so Limited 2 makes the most sense. Takes Ultimate Flying Mech Aim Eagle out of the deck, takes the Gate Attack out of the deck for Cyber Dragon, and it's just a must-have hit at this point. The next one to look at is Imaginary Reactor. Now, again, with Materian being able to turbo to their stuff, this is essentially a pot of greed, basically, on top of the 2 mil, which doesn't even matter. So, again, taking the Gate Attack out of Materian, I do expect this could very much happen. Imaginary Reactor is just so good that you need it at 3. So, having a little bit less consistency is a good thing for Materian, because their current gameplay style very much encourages not interacting with them, basically never attacking them out of fear of being OTK'd for free because you decided to attack once. So, this would at least curb the consistency a little bit. And there is one more I want to talk about in terms of limited 2s, and that is our boy Star Trancer. Now, Star Trancer, as I mentioned, helps give Voidvelg way too much access to piercing in multiples in a single turn. It's ridiculous. It's constant how often they get it. It's kind of overpowered at this point, and I do think something needs to be done about that. Lowering the piercing consistency on Voidvelg just a little bit, I think, is enough of a reason to actually, consider Star Trancer for Limited 2. It's also the free-to-play card, alongside Voidvelg Elysium, and so it also would take the Gate Attack out of the deck, because Star Trancer is just too good to not play. So, this I could see happening. I'm not entirely certain if it will, but considering, Voidvelgs were just overbearing with being the second most played deck in the GR Best Top Cut, yeah, I can very much see this happening. The only other card I had considered for Limited 2 to go alongside Negate Attack would be Buffered Slime, but that might be a little bit too much to hit the top decks. Again, a bit too much. Now, the only other one I could probably see them doing would be some kind of hit the Dragius Star, but I don't think that'll happen, even if it was somehow the 3rd most played deck in the GR Best Top Cut at 8 uses last I checked. But the main problems are definitely like Voidvelg and Omega Psychic. People have wanted Materian hit for a while, people have wanted Cyber Dragon hit for a while. Dragius Star, I'm not sure what they could do. Maybe put Sports Dragon Slugger back to Limit 2, I don't know. But anyway, on to the Limited 3s. And I really do not want to see this get hit, but I very much expect it will. Candy Live. Now, Candy Live, Omega Psychics are just dumb right now. They are, like, well over 60% of the top 100 cut was Omega Psychics. That should tell you something. Candy Live is dumb. It basically gives access to over 10k life points during a match, which is a bit overkill. It leads to OTK combos being a thing if you decide to just go in. And again, the threat of that means that you really don't want to interact with Omega Psychics that much. And on top of this, they're now also using not just Prima Guitarna, but Can Melody. So if you try to defend against them, they'll just take your set monsters out of the field, shuffle them back in, and they'll get through to you anyway. So this would probably also take Can Melody out of the deck, because you also have to play Ice Pop Bear in the first place. But I don't want this to get hit, because that means you'd have to only play 2 Ice Pop Bears and the 1 Candy Live. That would severely hurt the consistency of Omega Psychics, and they're a brand new deck. People have been waiting for Roman to get good support. He finally has it, and now it's causing problems. So I can expect this to get hit. I don't want it to, but I expect it. Now, if you want a card that I think everybody can agree should have been Limit 3'd on release, look no further than Ancient Gear Golem. Even with this being taken out of Cyber Dragon, it is a problem. A 3k that deals piercing that you also can't activate trap cards against. This is literally a secure for free. And so, this should have been Limit 3'd a long time ago. Just saying. And also 3k defense is next to impossible for most stuff to run over. Lastly, there are 2 more cards to talk about when it comes to this. First up is the trap, Card Restoration. Card Restoration is dumb. Being able to go +6 for free because your opponent decides to attack and gain life points out of it is ridiculous. It's also one of the main things Omega Psychics will use to get over 10k life points. So Limit 3ing this takes this out of Omega Psychics, takes this out of stuff like Dragia Star, and I think this is at least a good hit. This is kind of a must hit at this point. Card Restoration, it's just kind of dumb. Lastly, and this is the other one I can expect to see get hit to Limit 3, but not for the reason you think. We need Voidvelg Elysium here. Now, the reason why I say this is not because of Elysium itself being dumb, but on top of Universal Storm, as you'd expect, Voidvelgs are also using Ghost Cyclone to essentially get back row removal and an upstart for free. So, that's 6 back row removal cards. That's a little bit too much. So, Elysium to 3 would purely be to take Ghost Cyclone out of the deck. And that would honestly be fine. Lastly are the Unlimits. And there are 2 cards I can see possibly coming off the list. One, I don't know if it will, but it could very well, and that is Aftershoot Hydron. Yggdrago didn't really do much in this GR Fest. I got hit with it once, and that was about it. But yeah, no, Aftershoot Hydron is mostly just okay at this point. It's not going to mean much if it does come off the list. It means they'll be able to play 3 along with the Gate Attack again, but oh well. Like, Aftershoot isn't doing much. Yggdrago isn't doing much, so I can expect it might come off the list. I'm not sure if it will, but it very much could. Now, if you want a card that shouldn't have been on the Limited 3 list at all, in the first place, there was no point to this. Greystorm Reverie. Why was this even here? If this was to contest with Secret Order, there's a bit of a problem with that. You can't even summon this thing off of Secret Order in the first place, and even if this was Limited 3'd, Galactica wouldn't be playing this. We don't have Heavy Storm to make good use of its effect, so we literally do not have a reason for Greystorm Reverie to be on the list right now. Why is this even here? You could take this off, and nobody would play it anyway. So yeah, Greystorm Reverie definitely will be coming off the Limited 3 list. It has to. There's like no reason for it to be here. And so with that, that is everything I can really say. So let's recap. skill nerfs for Void Destruction and Cybernetic Combat customization, mainly just to reduce their consistency a little bit. And as for our ban, type change beam, limited 1 would be Star Restart, Talismanic Seal Array, and maybe Cyber Entry, I'm not sure about that one. Limited 2s, Star Transfer, definitely. Cyber Assault Dragon, definitely. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Imaginary Reactor. Limited 3s, Candy Live, which would be unfortunate, but I kind of expect it. Ancient Gear Golem, and Card Restoration. As for unlimits, maybe Adroshoot Hydron, and definitely Greystorm Reverie. The only other one I could have seen happening is, again, maybe putting Sports Dragon Slugger back to limited 2. But other than that, that's about it. That's all I have to say for this video. What do you guys think in terms of, like, what could happen with this ban list? I want to know what you guys believe might happen in regards to the upcoming ban list for potentially the GR Fest in general and Rush Format as a whole, if we even get one at all. I want to know what you guys think should happen, what could happen, and everything in between. So, with that said, until the next video, whatever it might be, later guys.